Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our monthly Ninja Skill Booster. Wonderful to have you with us already this morning. We have quite a large group here to talk about stressing less, which is a particularly favourite topic of mine. And I know Ninja Matt is here with me. Hi, Matt.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming. I'm looking forward to listening to you, Julie.
Wonderful. And I know that this is a very favourite topic of yours as well. So really important that we figure out how to stress less as ninjas, as we go about our days and wanting to be productive. It's so important to manage our stress levels. So I'm going to jump straight into the content with you today. And we're going to have a couple of little exercises that will set the pace, hopefully, to help us feel that we're going to start our day really well today. So let's get into it. So for those that don't know me, I'm Julie. I've met most of you or lots of you in the room already, as I know Matt has as well. Yes, we are here to chat about this stuff. We love talking about it. We are the ninja nerds when it comes to this stuff. So keep in touch. Please chat with us as much or as little as you like. You can reach out to us on our socials, or you can just email us. We would love to chat. So please keep in touch with us. And as an organisation, for those that don't know Think Productive, we're a global team running ninja workshops all over the world to help with this idea of helping everyone love Mondays, which sounds a bit crazy, but we believe it's possible. When we harness our ninja skills and we find better ways to manage our productivity and things like attention levels, then we can really have a great result from that. But today we're going to talk about stress, one particular element that tends to derail us when we're thinking about all of our productivity in the workplace, at home, wherever we might be, all of the things that we intend to get done and we struggle. So I'll talk a little bit about the stress pandemic that's going on. We'll talk about this funny little thing called the lizard brain, which quite a few of you have probably heard us talk about before. We'll talk about a little bit of physiology. I'd love to get into a little bit of detail so we understand exactly what's happening in our physiology so that we understand how we can overcome some of the immediate feelings that might happen when we're feeling stressed. We'll talk about breathing. I know that sounds really cliche and managing stress. Just breathe, you'll be fine. But it really is a powerful part of our physiology to use our breath. We will do a couple of little exercises, as I mentioned, around that, plus one other thing. I'm not going to give away the game. And we will talk about clearing our mind and having fun. These are really important stress releases. So yes, let's get into it. I did want to mention, that if you are feeling stressed, if you are feeling regularly stressed, you are not alone. There is this global pandemic happening right now. And I wanted to just share with you, I'm going to pop in the chat box a link to this study. This is the Gallup 2024 report. They are updating this fairly regularly, and it has such a wealth of information that is so valuable for us as workers, as managers, leaders, whatever role you are in your organization. Tap into this stuff. It's so useful to understand what is happening to us as a team, as an organization, and it's really interesting. In the report, I just pulled this up yesterday. This is their latest information, which I think goes to the end of last year. So we're already 6 months on from this data. But what we can see is that around 41% globally of workers are saying that they experience the following feelings a lot during the day. Now, this is about stress. Okay, so how much stress did you feel the day before? So yesterday, and 41% of workers are saying they had it for a lot of the day. Now, look at this. For Australia and New Zealand, it's even worse, 48%, and it's going up. That's nearly half the population is saying that they are feeling a lot of stress in the day. So it's so important for us to get a grip on this stuff, to figure out what is happening for us and how might we alleviate a little bit of this. If you look at the regional summary, so this is not regional New South Wales, or regional Australia, this is the region of Australia and New Zealand. And you can see that they are measuring things like employee engagement in this study. It's really valuable to tap in. And you'll see 64% of people in the Australian New Zealand workforce are feeling disengaged. They're not engaged at the moment. And 11% are actively disengaged. And a lot of this is because of a lot of the stress that we are feeling within the workplace. And you can see here, daily negative emotions, 48%, the stress number we just saw on the previous slide, anger, sadness, loneliness. This is really not great, and really important that we understand it for ourselves personally, as well as for our team if we're in a leadership position. So I would very much encourage you to tap into those results. I just wanted to set the scene a little bit to make you understand a little bit more that you're not alone. This is so common, and we really want to make sure we get better at managing it. One of the key issues we see, and Matt and I and our other ninjas, Gavin and Shah, I'm not sure if they're on the line today, but we see this so commonly when we're talking with all of our clients, that there is just so much to juggle. We feel like, the guy, I don't think we see these very often these days, but the man spinning all the plates, multiple plates, trying to keep everything up in the air, this idea of the racing clock. So it's really not great when we feel this, and we know that time is not our friend in this situation, and we're constantly struggling to get everything done. And what that does to our brain is really interesting. So this is just a graphic just to explain what we mean by the lizard brain. So this is a very small part of our brain. It's an ancient part of our brain called the amygdala. It's about the size of an almond, so it's fairly small, but it really does do a lot in terms of keeping us safe, but also creating lots of things in our body. So I just wanted to just pause and just talk a little bit more deeply on the lizard brain. So when we get under pressure, our brain's really evolved to keep us safe, as I mentioned, and this region of the amygdala is so primitive. It comes from those cavemen days of, the fight, flight, the saber-toothed tiger's coming. Do I run away? Do I fight it? Yeah, and there's a lot of research behind this, so I'm going to keep it a little bit top level. I'm not going to go very deeply, but just so that we understand that this little amygdala, it responds, it triggers almost before we even are aware of it. They actually think it does actually, before it becomes part of our conscious brain, the amygdala has already triggered. So this is about that cascade of events that happen then in our bodies when we have this amygdala. We call it sometimes the amygdala hijack. Yeah, because what it does is when we fire up this amygdala, once the amygdala goes, oh, there's danger here, or you know what, I'm feeling anxious, or there's a difficult situation at work, there's something happening, I've had a confrontation with someone, that the amygdala has already fired off. And what it's done is it has stopped our prefrontal cortex or our neocortex from working properly. It has switched it off because it's saying, right now, the most important thing for you to do is not to stay here, it's to get up and run away. Okay, so it activates our big muscle groups. It starts to fire off things like adrenaline and cortisol into our system to make that happen. And it switches off the prefrontal cortex. It also, under periods of chronic stress, turns off things like our gut, our immune system. That's when we get sick, when we've had long periods of stress. So it's really important to understand this immediate response and figure out how we manage it. How do we move forward? So I want to get you to think about this physiological response. If you want to pop in the chat box, how do you feel when you're feeling stressed? What happens to you? What do you notice? I would love to know that. What do you notice when you are stressed about your physiology or how you feel? What happens? Tight chest, racing heart, overwhelmed, shallow breathing. Get hot and a headache. Increased heart rate, Tim. Very distracted, headaches, brain scrambled. All of this stuff is really common. Brain fog, brain freezes, frustrated. We feel nauseous sometimes. All of these things are really, really common. But this is part of what we call ninja mindfulness. Being aware is your first step to being able to think about this stress and how I'm going to manage it and this stress response. So making sure that we are aware of how we feel in our bodies, what's happening. Once we start to regularly notice these things, then we can move forward. So, for me, I used to, in corporate land, I'd be walking around with my shoulders almost up at my ears all day. They'd get tighter and tighter and tighter. And that shallow breathing thing, I'd be right up here in my chest, and I'd be feeling anxious and the feelings of, I'm really not doing so well. But it is a bit like the frog in the pot stuff. Until we take a step back and we think about what is actually happening here, we almost don't even notice it. And this is the danger. So I want you to bring it back to being mindfully aware. First step, mindfully aware. Am I stressed? Where is my stress level at today? Even asking that question. You know, am I a 5 today? Am I a 10? I'm really, really stressed. Or you know what? No, I'm great today. I'm feeling really good. Getting that mindful awareness of where our stress is really useful. And then we can do something about it. So I wanted to talk about, how do we mindfully move from that place of, I know where my lizard brain is at. I know what to do next. How can I stop that from happening? How can I kind of keep it in check? And it's not always easy. It does take practice. And sometimes we, as I say, we don't have any control over this sometimes, because if something triggers that brain, it's already off and running before we get there, in our conscious sense. So it's a really good idea to try a few different things that we can help us to get focused. And the first one I did want to mention is breathing. Breathe, just breathe. Say it sounds cliche, sounds really flippant and throwaway, but let's go back to the physiology of this again. So breathing, what happens when we breathe? So when we're in the stress response, when we've got this amygdala fired off, it's going crazy, our thinking brain is switched off. If we can just recognize that and take some deep breaths, we do something really interesting in the body. So when we're in the stress response, we generally are breathing in, we're taking shallow breaths, and we are breathing in the top part of our lungs. And this is firing off, our sympathetic nervous system is controlling this breathing. So it's up here, it's going, quick, 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 run away, run away, run away. Yeah, so we're up here. When we push those breaths down, when we activate our diaphragm and we breathe really deeply, once we do that, what happens is really interesting, is we switch off the amygdala. It goes to what we call the parasympathetic nervous system. We switch off the amygdala and we switch back on the prefrontal cortex, the thinking brain. So this idea of breathing really is so powerful in the physiology of managing our stress. So let's just do a few deep breaths together. And there are some really interesting ones that help us to really reset this response. The 4-6 response, the 4-6 breath is one that I love particularly. So this is where we breathe in for 4, count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's try that again. In for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bless you, Matt. That made you sneeze. Awesome. How did that feel? I'd love to know. What did that do for your body? What did you notice when you started to do those deep breaths? Pop it in the chat box for me. Let me know how that's feeling. Calmer, feels great, relaxed. Yes, relaxing. Awesome. Calming and slowing down, Lita. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. And this is why these simple techniques can be your friend. You can do this breathing in a meeting. If you have a stressful meeting happening, you have confrontation happening, no one even knows you're doing this. Take the time. Even if you pause, you look back, you're looking up, you're thinking in the meeting, it can give you just that space just to do a couple of breaths and start to control these responses. Yeah. Practice this, practice it regularly. And there are many, many techniques. Yeah, there's the boxing technique, which is that breathe in for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4 again. Yes, thank you for that, Nicholas. Yeah, there's lots of different techniques. Find your favorite one, find what works for you. Yeah. And we don't do this. You're right, Helena. We don't do this very often. So it's a really important thing just to think about. It's not cliche. It's not just a throwaway line. This is a powerful technique to harness for your physiology. Now, I am also going to get you to do one more little technique. Oh, now I'm hoping that you can hear the sound. I'm going to try this little sound. Actually, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to do it very quickly. I'm going to start sharing again so that I make sure this works for you first time. I'm going to share with sound. And I'm going to let you hear Matt's voice. Matt recorded this beautiful little thing for us, which we can share with you. If you'd like a copy of this, feel free to grab this from us. I will tell you how to get this later. But this is a little meditation called a body scan. And this can help us again come into our physiology, come into our body and figure out where we are. It's only for 3 minutes, okay? But please sit comfortably, sit back and relax. We've done a couple of breaths, so hopefully you're feeling kind of calmer. Let's have a go at the body scan and see what that does for us. So I'm going to get this to play now. Please, Matt, could you just give me an okay sign that the sound is working? Thank you. I'll start playing it now.
Welcome. Preparing for this 3-minute guided body scan, start by sitting comfortably with a straight back and close your eyes. Take a few gentle breaths to ground you in this moment. Allow your hands, arms, and shoulders to relax. Feeling your breath as it enters your body and as it leaves your body. Follow your inhalation and exhalation, feeling the body expand and contract with each breath. Feel the breath connecting the mind and the body. Now bring your attention to your head, feeling into the scalp, forehead, and face. Allow the muscles in your head and face to soften. Now lower your focus to your neck and shoulders, noticing any sensations here. Bringing awareness to your arms, all the way through to the wrists, palms, and fingers. Observe any sensation that arises on the surface of the skin or deeper within. Now scan your back and notice any intensity. If there is any intensity, direct the breath into that area to allow for a softening. Feel into the belly, observing it rise and fall, observing the expansion and contraction of the belly with the breath. Now scan your pelvis and hips, moving your attention all the way into the legs and feet. Letting them relax and become soft. Now settle into the stillness that comes from paying attention to your body part by part. With your eyes still closed, start to wiggle your fingers and toes, becoming aware of your position in the room. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Take a few deep breaths and enjoy this feeling of calmness in body and mind. Namaste.
Thank you, Ninja. That was wonderful. How was that for everyone? I'd love to know. How was it? Lovely. Yes, fun in the open plan office, Peter, but thank you for playing along. It's really wonderful. Yeah. And look at that, Kerry. Didn't realize that you had pain between your shoulders until then. Yeah, wonderful. So this little meditation, 3 minutes, can you believe in 3 minutes you can do a full body scan? You can become aware of where the stress might be being held. You can be aware of what you're doing in the day and how it's impacting your physiology and the way you feel. Yeah, you almost fell off the chair, Karen. Don't do that. We don't want any health and safety issues from this. But thank you. Yes. If you would like a copy of that, I'm going to get you maybe just to email us at the end. Would that be the best thing, Matt, do you think? Just to grab a copy? We'll figure that one out. What do you think?
I can include a link in the follow-up email.
Yeah. Perfect. That's a great idea. Yes, we will do that so everyone can get a copy of that. And remember, this is something you could do first thing in the morning in the office before you start your day. You could even do it in the car before you go into work. You could do it on the train. You know, nobody needs to know you're doing these things other than the fact you've closed your eyes. Yeah, if you're playing along. So do have a try of this. This is really powerful stuff. Now, I don't want to run out of time on you today, so I'm going to keep going. But yes, I hope we're all feeling a little bit calmer. Now, there's another technique that is really powerful. And if you've done it after your breathing and your body scan, this is also really powerful, is emptying our minds. You've maybe heard us talk about this lots because we rave about this technique. But this idea of emptying our mind, getting everything out so that we can see where everything is really important for us as ninjas. So this helps us to manage the stress. Try not to hold everything in here, like this guy, you know, big stuff, little stuff, urgent stuff, not so urgent stuff. You know, there's solving global warming in there. And then there's things like picking up milk or calling mum on Sunday. You know, our brain doesn't discriminate. It just tries to hold on to all of this stuff. So do yourself a favor and do a brain dump. Write it all down. Get it out. Again, first thing in the morning. This is wonderful. We love this. So getting everything out, getting it onto paper is really great. I'm going to pop this up, but we're not going to have time to do this activity. But have a think about this, okay? So after the session, give yourself just even 2 or 3 minutes to get everything out of your head. Get it all onto paper. If you can, just individual little pieces of paper, things like sticky notes or scrap paper, just tear it up. One idea on each piece of paper. Don't try to organize them to start with. Just get everything out. And then we can start to plan what we do with all of that stuff. You did it, Rachel. Awesome. You did it last week. Wonderful. This is a really important technique. If you are in a very stressful period, do not rely on your brain to remember everything. Get these things out. Get them into what we call a second brain. We can tell you much more about that another time. But this is a system or a process that we set up to help us do the remembering. Yeah, so do have a try at that technique. It's really powerful. And last but not least, I wanted to mention my very favorite technique for managing stress, which is having fun. It is so important to have fun. And you would have noticed probably me in a wetsuit on the front slide. That's my way of de-stressing. It's my way of managing all of the stresses and strains of the week. There's me again on the left, going scuba diving, doing my underwater photography. It's a massive, massive passion for me. And it is an amazing stress release. There's lots of research around this now. I'm going to share a little bit on the blue and green spaces stuff with you. But what is it that you can do to have some fun to help you, again, get rid of all that adrenaline and cortisol you might have been building up during the week? What can you do? What can you do to get rid of some of that stuff? Is it walking? Is it cooking? Is it hanging out with friends? It doesn't have to be anything too energetic, but it can be. It can be something that you might love. I know Matt's a mountain bike crazy person going out there into the wilds. Think about this. What can I do? Pop it in the chat box. I would love to know, what do you do as your current stress release? Crochet, Jessica. Wonderful. That's beautiful. Little things like yoga mat. Yes, beautiful. If you don't have something that you love to do, even if it's doing nothing, if you love to do nothing, if you're very busy, that's great. But do think about, what can you do? What can you build into your week that will help you to de-stress? This is not a nice to have. This is a critical, yeah, because we're not here just to work our guts out and then get sick. Yeah, happened to me twice. I did this twice. Yeah, I burnt out twice in a big way. For those that don't know me, I had cancer twice as a result of not taking care of myself. Yeah, big believer in making sure we're doing the things we love. So please, please, please do this. I can see some wonderful comments in the chat box. There were things like building Lego, walking the neighbor's dog, making cheese. Lisa, that's amazing. Fantastic. Oh, I love this. Lots of cuddles with the grandkids, Joe. Yes, I love that too. Wonderful. Doing weights, gardening, yoga, gardening. Yeah. Please, 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 if you take one thing away from today, please do this. Yeah. Please do this. Put something on your list that will help you to de-stress this week. Coastal walks. Oh, what a perfect lead in there, Venera. Look at this, a coastal walk. I did want to mention, and I can definitely give you the link for this one as well, but there is some World Health Organization research that came out recently on blue and green spaces, which is why I chose this image. Lots of blue and green on this slide. The idea of the positive benefits of being in nature. Yeah, this is, again, such powerful insight into simple things, even if it's going outside and standing in your garden, or if you don't have a garden, on your balcony, touching pot plants, whatever it might be in the space that you're in. These blue and green spaces have a very big positive effect on our mood. It can also have benefits on stress. It can have restorative benefits. You might have heard things like in Japan, they do forest bathing. They actually go out into forests specifically to just bathe in the air. Yeah. So feel free to sing out if you like more information on this stuff, but the blue and green spaces is powerful. Okay. I hope we had some fun. We went through quite a bit here. Yeah. We went through how to know what your stress level is like, where it's at. Yeah. Taming that lizard brain, breathing, and clearing our mind on top of the fun stuff. So I hope that was really useful for you today. Just one more minute of powerful personal reflection. What will you do differently today? What will you do as a result of what we've talked about? We love our sessions to be action focused. I don't want to stress you by doing that, but I want you to do something differently as a result of what you've learned. Thank you so much, guys. And I also just want to mention, we have a very special event coming up on the 8th of August, which is to talk about men's mental health. This is one of Matt's absolute passion areas, and he has a very special guest, Tim Hewson, coming along from Mongrels Men to talk about men's mental health, which is a topic that we don't often talk about. So that's a special event outside of our normal Ninja Skill Boosters, but we will send you a little email reminder, so please make sure you get in touch if you would like to join us for that one. And also, just a very quick reminder, we have our 6 Weeks to Ninja program starting also on the 8th of August, which is a really powerful way, again, to manage your stress, to get your second brain set up, to get on top of all of those things in work that might be giving you some stress. So please feel free to join us for that one. And remember, we are here to chat, so please stay in touch. I am just going to stop the recording, and I am going to do